Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a paralegal turned stay-at-home mom who loves true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. Vinson Horace Champ is an almost famous comedian after he gained a little fame on the 1992 Star Search. He gained even more notoriety in the late 90s for becoming a serial rapist and a real-life cucuy. Vince Horace Champ was born on September 12, 1961 in Stockton, California, to John Champ and Thelma Slade. His dad was in the Air Force and he graduated from Edison High School. By 24, he had graduated from Sacramento State College, and after college, he started working as an entertainer for cruise ships. He was known to perform at the Punchline Comedy Club in Sacramento and sometimes did theater at the Caesars Palace in Las Vegas and other local theater plays. He has appeared on The Rosie O'Connell Show, Stand Up Spotlight, and The Late Show with David Letterman, The Byron Allen Show, A Dating Game, and of course, most notably winning the $100,000 after competing in the Star Search in 1992. Vinson's earliest recorded crime was physically attacking his 17-year-old girlfriend when he was 35 years old. After this, he would move on to something more sinister. He started wilding after this. He liked to target college campuses, specifically music rooms. Usually in music departments, there are small rooms that students can use to practice. I always found them creepy because they're usually soundproof. And when I was in college and used them, I was almost always one of the few people at a time in the building. And it was always just one of those eerie places that gives you the heebie-jeebies for no apparent reason, or maybe if you're like me and watch and listen to so many true crime things that you kind of start, noticing places and stuff that real cucuys and lloronas may like. Vinson would wear a ski mask and gloves, and he would find his victims inside college buildings. He would cover his victims' faces so they wouldn't be able to see him, and he talked the entire time. He would ask them about their prior sexual history and even ask them to pray for him. Vinson is African American, but two of his victims were certain. They described him as a Caucasian man because of the eloquent manner in which he spoke. That's exactly like when people tell me that I sound like a white girl when I'm literally Mexican. So here is a list of all of the rapes and attempted rapes related to this man that we know of. On September 6, 1996, he raped a woman at the University of Iowa, a public institution. For this, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on November 15, 2002. On February 6, 1997, he raped a woman at Union College, a Seventh-day Adventist institution in Lincoln, Nebraska. For this, he was sentenced to up to 40 years in prison in June of the millennium. On February 9, 1997, he attempted to rape a woman at Knox College, a Presbyterian institution in Galesburg, Illinois. For this, no charges were filed. On February 10, 1997, he allegedly raped a woman at Carthage College, a Lutheran institution in Kenosha, Wisconsin. For this, no charges were filed. On February 16th, 1997, that morning, he allegedly raped a woman at Augustana College, a Lutheran institution in Rock Island, Illinois, and then that afternoon, he raped a different woman at St. Ambrose College in Davenport, Iowa. In April and July of 1997, he was charged for indecent exposure and solicitation to an undercover sheriff's deputy. On March 5th, 1997, he raped a woman at the University of Nebraska, a public institution in Omaha, Nebraska. For this, he was sentenced to 25 to 30 years in prison in July of the millennium. In 2001, he appealed this conviction, and thankfully it was denied. On May 6, 1997, he tried to rape a woman at Pasadena City College, a public institution in Pasadena, California. Before he was caught, the captain of the Davenport, Iowa police, Captain James Van Fossen, said, and I quote, "We thought the rapist would be a food server, a professor traveling around, or maybe an athlete going from school to school. Nobody suspected a traveling comedian until he was seen running from an attempted rape in Pasadena, California on May 6, 1997. He was arrested the next day at his Hollywood, California apartment and sent back to Nebraska to face the consequences of his own actions." The trial for the litany of offenses started in February of 1998. The straw that broke the camel's back was this new little big thing called DNA. He pled to no contest to 3 separate cases of first-degree kidnapping, second-degree sexual abuse, and assault. In 2002, he was found guilty of 2 counts of rape in Pasadena. Between 2000 and 2003, he appealed his convictions, and he was denied in every instance. We reached the end of today's episode of Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Thank you so much for coming down the little mini rabbit hole where I currently live. Stay tuned for the next case. Make sure to follow me on all socials by the same handle. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and of course TikTok. If you like my content, do me a favor and rate my show wherever you listen. As always, I accept and respect your opinions. I welcome all comments, questions, case suggestions, etc. Call me, beat me at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next. Adios.